Happy today.
Oh wow. that one got, it was just coffee, dude. It wasn't like I was on a vape pen or anything. That was just coffee going down the wrong pipe.
Oh wow. You okay?
I think so. You got some
Good.
weird like Mystery Theater 3000 Science Theater. What? I need something else to redo my brain here. I'm foggy this morning. You look like you're in a Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie or something. The shadows. You look like it's.
Oh yeah. My room. I tried to use natural lighting, and this camera didn't like it. It was like bleeding out. Like I was looking like like I was an angel coming through the window or some shit. So I got this like little light from one of the production things I bought many times. And that's helping out, making it look a little nicer. So like you can see me and I can see you. I know you've been having a little technical difficulties as well this morning. You're using your
when do I not have technical difficulties? The story of my life is technical difficulties. If they're going to make a movie of my life, it would be technical difficulties.
Starring MattySats. I'm going to turn off my air conditioner. Give me 1 sec.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the sound of the ocean we were hearing.
Yeah, it's just a little too loud.
Dude,
and it's not 95 yet. It'll be 95.
I might be a little punch drunk and goofy for this morning's live stream.
Well, welcome to the show today, folks. I want to thank all of our sponsors, of course, the team at Bitcoin Live, Quantum Economics, Quantum Expeditions, and Shield Folio, and all the Bitcoin Live show hosts. And again, happy today. And this is my host, MattySats. And again, thanks to Nick again and the team at Bitcoin Live. Today's show is called OpCat and the new market for the Neo dollar. We're not going to get into that just yet. The first thing we're going to get into is a little video that I caught yesterday, breaking down the term that I've been using for some time called economic colonialism. Now, the short version is it's basically we go in, we attach your paper currency to our paper currency, and then we don't let your country ever get too close to paying off their debt. But anyway, here's that little clip. Let me just switch over to the correct tab so I can hit play, and let's enjoy.
The US dollar is both the biggest export and the strongest weapon the US has. See, the way they weaponize it is by lending it out, by forcing people to use it, and thereby creating the network effects where everyone needs to use the US dollar. And the key part is, this is something they just create out of nothing. They don't even have to print it. They just like type it up and then boom, like billions just appear, okay? And how do they get the whole world to use it? Well, first, they package it in like a nice thing called US aid. So US aid comes to a country that's struggling, like, oh, we'll do a study for you and we're gonna give you a loan. We're gonna help raise you out of poverty and build roads and infrastructure and stuff. They get the study, and then they give the study to the ruler of that country, whether it's the king or whatever. Of course, if it's a leader that doesn't want the help, they'll just overthrow him, like they've done with countless regimes in the world, okay? But let's put that aside for now. So then that leader takes that US aid study, even the way they call it aid, and takes it to their parliament and gives it to the press, and oh yeah, look, America's going to give us all these billions of dollars to create a new highway and a new port and a new whatever. And then, of course, one of the terms is that you have to employ American firms and Western firms, and to build these things because they have the expertise, of course. Yeah, they have the experience and expertise. It's for your own benefit. And then you get the IMF loan, okay, or the World Bank loan. They're both the same, by the way. And of course, the idea of these loans is to never be repaid. The whole idea is that they're not working for it. It's not someone's capital, so no one wants it to be repaid. The idea is they give it to these countries, and of course, after a few years, they can't repay. By the way, not a single country in the history of the IMF has ever repaid back its loan. And eventually, even the ones that do, you're gonna have to repay back the loan with interest. Of course, this is not a charity. IMF and the World Bank are not a charity, although they position themselves as such. And like the weird thing is that even the people who work there think that they're doing good for some reason. Like they're just smart enough to carry out this thing, to believe this shit, but dumb enough not to see the big picture of how they're actually fucking over the entire global south. So of course, once you're on the debt, you never repay it back, and you have to refinance and refinance. And every round of refinancing, there's little conditions. Actually, you should privatize your telecommunications. You should privatize your ports. And we just so happen to have great telecom companies and great port management companies, etc.
It's usually oil.
And slowly. And then you know what? I think you should remove subsidies on your fuel, because that's how you can repay back the loan better. And we're giving you economic advice. And then this is where the true evil begins. Oh, like all your agriculture, instead of planting crops that you need for subsistence, how about you plant some cocoa or stuff that's easier to export, and you'll make more money selling it on the international markets, okay? So then a condition of these loans would be to subsidize these crops that are for export, not for subsistence, okay? So effectively what happens after that is that you're in debt and you can't feed yourself. So you're dependent on them for money and dependent on them for food. And this is how the empire weaponizes its dollar, its biggest resource and most powerful weapon. This is all available in a book called Confessions of Economic Hitman. I encourage you to read it.
I highly
it's
recommend
fascinating.
this book.
Gives you all the details and all that. It sucks.
So basically, that's the gist of it, right? We keep these countries indebted to us, and again, another portion of this whole game that we play, this economic charade that we play with a whole bunch of emerging market countries, is that not only do we print them, into their money into oblivion, but as you could see, he didn't get into the more details. If they don't play ball, what happens? They either replace you or they try and pull what Donald Trump happened to Donald Trump yesterday, right? And that's just how it is, right? And this has been going on for 75 years. And Bitcoin literally fixes this, right? This is one of the biggest utility cases that Bitcoin has, is that your country can circumnavigate this crazy system that for many years, yes, let's be very clear, the IMF and World Bank has done some good things, but over long time frames, again, we just see your paper money get hammered against the dollar, and it makes it harder and harder for these countries to get out of debt.
One thing I would submit there, and everything that he said was true and spot on, but I believe that the same thing, the same exact thing, the same model, the same principles are being employed and being done right now with China through their Belt and Road Initiative. This is being done in countries in Africa where they're coming in and they're saying, hey, guess what? We will build infrastructure. We will build ports. I mean, they've already done this in Kenya, for example, where they've come in, and Ethiopia, other places around the world, specifically in Asia, etc. But this Belt and Road Initiative does very much the same thing. So don't think it's just, the U.S. Everybody else is out there doing it in their own way, shape, and form.
Oh, yeah, correct. The Dutch, the French, the British, and the Chinese now for the last 30, 40 years, they come in to whatever African.
Belt and Road is just in the last maybe 5 years, dude. Belt and Road Initiative is a recent program.
Oh, yeah, because they're trying to make the new Silk Road, right?
Right, yeah, the Belt and Road Initiative. They've been doing this since, I believe, at least 5-6 years. Could go back further. Again, I don't have my laptop in front of me. I'm kind of
no worries
today. But from what I remember off the top of my head early on a Sunday morning, this Belt and Road Initiative that China has been doing does the same exact thing. And here's the thing that you can tell when China says this is what happened in Africa. I forget which country it was off the top of my head again, but they come in and they say, guess what? We're going to build a port, right? Just like you said. But guess what? When they build that port, they dredge that port to the specifications for military ships, depth ships. Oh, thank you, Nick. Nick is so good. He's the best. So there you go.
Yeah, and also to go into what I was trying to say was that for 20 or 30 years, they go into Senegal, pick the country where Sudan. That's a very Sudan's a very perfect example. And they say, oh, we're going to build you the stadium, and then we're going to build you, help you with your pipeline. But when we help you with your pipeline, we get like 45% of the, profits that come from this, or 45% of the resources, whether it's oil, natural gas, whatever. One of the biggest reasons nothing happened in Sudan for many, many years is because China has a huge oil line that runs right through the middle of it. They have more military in the Sudan than the United States does to protect this oil line. So again, these forms of economic colonialism have been going on for many, many years, and Bitcoin comes in and puts the kibosh on that shit. And that's what's really scaring them. Like, let's be very clear. They are at the point where, if you remember from a couple years ago when China kicked the miners out, they, their biggest gripe was like, we're all gonna die. Oh my God. Ah! Yeah, no. That's not happened. And of course that was pure insanity. And now fast forward to just last week, and what are we seeing? Exactly what me and you have been talking about for like 4 or 5 years. We're seeing the collapse of China because they threw out their most wealthiest community, right? The Bitcoin miners in China, some of those people were multiple billionaires, right? These people were rich. And where are those people now? They're in Wyoming. They're in El Salvador. They're in Texas, right? They're in Amsterdam. They're in every place else except your fucking country. And now they're not spending their billions of renminbi in your country. They're spending dollars in Texas, right? They're spending Bitcoin in El Salvador, right? They're not going to participate. And the wealthier you are, the easier that is, right? So if you were one of the top Bitcoin miners, oh yeah, and there's the book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. If you don't know this book by Jonathan Perkins, highly recommend it. I don't know if I read this one or his other one, but I've read one of his books, and it truly fascinating, but it breaks down exactly what it's saying, right? So, and his example, he used World Aid. I'll just use another example. So they'll send in like some engineering firm, a high-end engineering firm. Let's just say like Halliburton, right? And that's a great one because they got plenty of assets and that go from an engineering slash I'm not in the CIA. But Halliburton comes in and they're going to do, they're going to build a dam. And then the guy that's supposed to do the specs for Halliburton, he does the specs and then shows them to his boss. And the boss is like, you need to bigger. So when they go to the World Bank, right, they get this huge ass loan. And then, of course, who gets all the money? Well, Halliburton gets a big chunk, and then obviously any of the investors in said country gets a chunk. And then who gets? Do the people get any of that money? No, it never turns out that way. Do the people actually benefit from any of these fucking dealings? Right? Zero. What happens is we just elevate a new this new elitist class in their country to the top. And again, and there's plenty of videos. He's been on Max Kaiser's old show on RT. That's how I found out about Jonathan Perkins, because as everybody knows, Max talks about these types of economic crimes, right? He calls them economic terrorists, right? Max Kaiser's been calling these guys economic terrorists for many, many years, the banksters, right? And let's not call them banksters anymore. Banksters has become such a benign term. It has like no meaning. I've retermed them the bank gangsters, right? I know what that's supposed to be, the conjunction of the two, but it doesn't have the same meaning when you say bankster. It almost sounds like Banksy, right? It's like, yeah. And since it has that slight subliminal connotation, it has no pejorative meaning anymore at all. So they are officially the bank gangsters, right? And that's what they do. Oh, we need more money, right? And like I said, and I have my video. Let me pull up my new little video from yesterday that I shared. And I was like, you know what? Let's watch this one too. I got it like 10 tabs deep here. Give me a sec. Oh, and here's one just to get a little chuckle. Oh yeah, China's likely to unban Bitcoin. Yeah, wonder why? Because 40 of your fucking banks imploded last week, you dumbasses. This just in. Breaking news. Oh, but anyway, I'm gonna go to another tangent. This video right here, I've definitely wanted
I
to
love it when you go on the tangent.
totally huge.
You need
This
support.
is Senator Lummis on Fox Business News. I'm going to share this tab. And yeah, this is huge.
No central bank digital currency. I'm so happy about that because that's a means of surveillance of the American people. But we want to make sure people can have individual wallets for their Bitcoin so they have that sovereign over their own money. We know we want the US dollar to remain strong. And actually having Bitcoin in reserve can help the US dollar remain strong. No central bank digital currency. I'm so happy about that because that's a means of surveillance of the
Yeah. So again, we have this is a big deal, right? We have the Republican Party all coming together that they are not for a CBDC. Even though they're saying this, this is a good segue into today's topic, the new market for the neo dollar. And what does that mean? What's going on? So what that means is this is why all of a sudden we see the SEC giving green lights to Ethereum and potentially Solana. Why is that? Because these two blockchains run USDC, right? They are rails for USDC. And as me and MattySats have discussed, we think that all the WEF coins that the WF is excited about will get approved at some point, right? They'll get an ETF and then that makes a market for that blockchain. And then obviously that makes a market for USDC on that blockchain, right? The new thing is that obviously if we do today's show is about OpCat. What is OpCat? It allows you to concatenate two Satoshi together. So let's say you got 52 on this Satoshi and you got 42 on this Satoshi. Well, it comes 5242, right? And there's an amazing article I have pulled up. Let me just show you that one. It's this one right here called Balrogs and OpCats, the bridge to Khaza-doom. It's by Eric Wall. It's very technical, but if you really want to understand what is going on with OpCat, as I stated in a couple episodes back, it's going to allow Bitcoin to do a couple amazing things, right? The one thing is it will make potentially, we're not 100% sure until obviously we put this stuff out into the wild and test it, but it would make layer 2 networks like Lightning completely verifiable, right? And then that makes Lightning totally solid. The other thing it would do is we could build native things on Bitcoin. Obviously, that would lead to some shit coinery going on Bitcoin, but we could build the dollar on Bitcoin. There's already a firm doing this. I was doing some research last night. It's called NUSD. It is a dollar that runs on Bitcoin. Is that going to be the first Bitcoin dollar that gets, official approval and all that? I'm not sure. Right now, it looks like Tether and USDC are going to be the first iterations of the digital dollar. And when the implosion comes, like I was saying a couple of months back, they're going to go, oh, we're out of money again. And they're going to be like, oh, we have USDC. And surprise. Let me go back to my page because, like I said, I wanted to share that video, and I think I have just found it. Give me 1 second. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is play the main tweet video. Give me a sec. I'm going to pause it, rewind it. And it's obviously, we've all heard this question from many people. But here is that one. And let me just hit play.
All I'm saying is I've never seen a valid argument explaining why we can't just print more money.
And again, here was my response to that. And here it is. Why is there no volume? Oh, really, computer? Come on. All right, my computer's being a dick.
Your purchasing power goes down.
Let's root.
Right? And if you enjoyed inflation, so this is to all the youngsters, why you can't print more money. First off, they will print more money.
Oh, they will.
But you really don't want them to do that, because what happens is your purchasing power goes down, right? And if you enjoyed inflation when the dollar was riding high at like 115, oh, you're really gonna love inflation when the dollar is in the like 89 to 90 cents. But yeah, if they print more money, then yeah. Did you remember when eggs were $45 a dozen? Well, yeah, eggs are going to be $50 a dozen if they print more money. So enjoy that shit. And if you're smart, you'll buy some of this.
Because yes,
So this is
Bitcoin
to all the
fixes this, right? Let's be very, very clear. If you are stacking sats, your purchasing power goes up. If you're stacking dollars, your purchasing power goes down over extended periods of time. Now, getting back to OpCat, why, like I said, why is this important? Because eventually, if BIP 420 does get approved, then eventually all the other blockchains, I don't know if every single one will go to zero, but almost every single one will go away. Does that mean Ethereum too? Can't see that far into the future, but it wouldn't be good for Ethereum. It wouldn't be good for Solana. It wouldn't be good for XRP. Literally, if this happened, right, Lightning becomes on-demand liquidity. Well, isn't that XRP? Bye-bye XRP, right? So bye-bye all of these shitcoins. Almost like 85 to 90% of them go bye-bye over the next 5 years if OpCat is approved. And that's a big deal, right? And yes, there will be chicanery and shitcoinery done on the Bitcoin network, but that's already happening with ordinals. So I eventually do seeing happening on Bitcoin as well. I just think we're going to see, obviously, there will be some kind of approval process at some point, right? Because I don't think we're just going to let people just build crazy ass meme coins, even though it's an open protocol. I think it will be a little bit more, hopefully a little bit more tame than what we're seeing on Solana, right? Like, I think I just read an article the other day that there's been over 1 million tokens created on Solana in the last like 3 to 6 months or something like that. And again, I've said this since 2020, who's somebody who's been to the law library many more times than 85% of everyone watching. Do not print your own crypto coin, right? Let me explain why it's a SAC violation. Okay. So if you're going to do this, and I've said this many, many times, you want to do this as an experiment, you want to do this for a classroom experiment, and you're the teacher and you want to print up all these like, green coins as an experiment, and you give them out for free to the class, and then you use them in some kind of test net or some kind of application that you're building. Cool. That's totally legit. But as soon as you print a coin and you then go put it up for sales on dexes, or whether it's, a Solana dex, or you get it approved by exchanges and that price goes up and then you dump it, well, you just committed securities fraud, right? I've said this many, many times. All those people you heard making those videos in the last bull run in 2020, 2021. Yeah, notice how you don't see those people around anymore? Yeah, because they're in illegal nightmares right now, because they made all this money, probably didn't pay, hundreds of millions of dollars in some cases, didn't pay any taxes, and then, rug pulled people and screwed over how many thousands of people. So again, do not print your own coin and pump it to the moon and then dump it on people. This is a version of securities fraud. Okay. Now, if you give all that coin away for free, like Satoshi did in the beginning, it's not securities fraud. That's what gets Bitcoin around a lot of the Howey test bullshit, is because Satoshi gave away so many coins for free in the beginning that it unsecuritized it, right? And when Charlie Lee sold all his Litecoin and people were freaking out, I said, no, this is a strategic move. He did this so he doesn't have the largest position of that coin. And then if he makes a move, well, that's securities fraud, right? So he got rid of his position. And this is the same thing I've been saying with XRP. If XRP employees would dump their bags, then, you know, I think your problems with the SEC go away. That was another big story the other day. So the SEC dropped 2 lawsuits the other day at like Friday at like literally 10 o'clock my time. So that's like 10, 11, 12, 1 a.m. East Coast time. They're dropping these stories, people. Are you paying attention? Are you back? I see you kind of like peeking over like that guy. All right. But yeah, please don't print your own coin. I know MattySats would never do that because he's actually way smarter than he lets people know. He doesn't fuck with those shit coins like that. I know that. He knows that's a no-no.
I just hope that the Bitcoin network does not become saturated with too many shit coins as a result of OpCat. That's my fear.
Yeah, and again, I've been concurrent with that, right? Like I was saying, did they put some kind of filter on? Did they put some kind of approval process into it? I don't know, but it would make the Lightning Network, I would believe, close to Turing complete, which would make it, like I said, almost every transaction is verifiable. Then that means, you know, one of my biggest, you know, junior dev theories out there is that, you know, we can build. I think OpCat is the bridge for us to actually bridge Satoshis from layer 1 to Lightning and Lightning back, right? And like I said, if that's the case, bye-bye XRP, because there's on-demand liquidity. I can throw these sats into the channel and then I can take them out of that channel at any time. Holy shit balls. That's amazing.
I still think even though after all that, you're still going to have XRP. There's still going to be these other projects and tokens.
It's very plausible.
Into them. I think that, you know, yeah, you're right. Maybe some other things do go down, but these are going to be brands that are going to be around for a long, long time as we move forward in this digital economic world. And I think you're right to a point, but I still think that these brands will still be there, whether it's XRP and Stellar, etc. But yeah, I got some more coffee. Can I get you anything?
I actually got some kombucha pineapple paradise.
So good. I love kombucha. It's so good. It cleans your bowels out. You know, like sometimes you might have like a blockage.
Since I got the disease, I'm always trying to
hot pockets at the barbecue festival or something. You're like, oh, you get some kombucha in there. A little kombucha going. Ooh, brother, that sits you right.
I'm always trying to fix the gut biome.
Yeah, I ate too much at the barbecue festival yesterday, and I'm paying for it today, dude. Oh, goodness.
Oh, and since we're talking about health stuff, and I said this on Twitter a bunch of times, if you have pink Himalayan sea salt in your kitchen, throw it the fuck out.
It's bad. It's garbage.
Yes.
You don't want to eat
that. Go ask Google or ask Siri. Where's my phone? Hold on. We're going to do this experiment right now. I got my phone somewhere.
Oh my goodness.
Here we go.
On the stream right
I got my phone. Here we go. Siri, how much lead is in pink Himalayan sea salt?
A lot of lead.
1 teaspoon of rock salt, sea salt, or Himalayan salt has 2,200 milligrams. So they're very close.
No, that's not the answer I wanted. Hold on. Give me a second. Siri, is there lead in pink Himalayan sea salt?
That's not the answer I want.
Salt is hand extracted. and minimally processed to yield an unrefined product that's free of additives and thought to be.
No, she's getting all the how much lead is in pink Himalayan sea salt.
1 teaspoon of rock salt, sea salt, or Himalayan salt.
So she's not giving me the answer. It's 25% over the legal limits. 25%. And that's just lead. There's lead, there's mercury, there's, I think, molybdenum. There's like 4 or 5 heavy metals that are in pink Himalayan sea salt. And literally, yeah. And literally, over the last, I think, 8 years being a vegan, I was getting healthier and healthier and healthier. And then all of a sudden I just plateaued and I couldn't figure out what it was. And literally, yeah, exactly. I saw heavy metals coming out of my nail about 2 months ago. And I was like, what the heck? Why is there big...
You're like Wolverine. You got heavy metals coming out your hand.
Yeah, coming out of right out of my knuckles. So I literally was like, what is it? I couldn't figure it out. And the only big change that I've noticed since I'd moved to Oregon was that I was using this pink Himalayan sea salt. And I started doing research on it, and everything, all the research I did was like, yeah, no, you should not be eating this shit. You shouldn't be eating this shit if you have an autoimmune disease like me. You shouldn't be eating it if you have long COVID. You shouldn't be eating it if you have high blood pressure. You shouldn't be eating it if you have bad kidneys, bad livers, brain problems.
You shouldn't be eating it if, like, you can even pick your nose. I mean, there's lots of reasons why you should not be eating it.
Yes, but I'm saying if you have any kinds of comorbidities, right, any kind of problems, health issues, it shouldn't even be on your table at all.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, literally get rid of it. I got rid of it, and my health started to improve immediately.
Himalayan sea salt, no more.
Yeah, just dump it. Like literally, it's the biggest. In my opinion, it's the newest psyop, right? It's just one more thing they're trying to get you to convince you that's healthy, but it's killing you, right? Like, oh, awesome. Yeah, great. Thanks. But yeah, if you have pink Himalayan sea salt, please throw it out. The only salt you should be using is Celtic sea salt or French Celtic sea salt. I see some online that comes in a plastic bag. I tell people, get the one that comes in a glass jar.
Buy some really easy, use his discount code, and he'll get you set up.
Yeah, I don't have a Celtic sea salt discount code.
I thought that's the whole point of what you were doing there. You were gonna get the link to the.
Oh, I'm working on. That's the next thing. I have been working on getting sponsors. But yeah, not the sea salt's not gonna be one of them, I don't think. But please buy it. You'll really here. Let me just show you why this shit works. Okay, so if you've heard of this doctor, she's from Australia. Her name's Dr. Barbara O'Neill, and she's the one who told me. Yeah, she's super smart. Highly recommend her videos. Anybody follow her on X? She's on X. But she pointed this out to me that Celtic sea salt has 2 types of vanadium in them that actually draws the water into your cells. When you use table salt or use pink Himalayan sea salt, it doesn't do the same thing. So perfect example, I was at my poker game the other night on Friday, and I forgot my water bottle, which I usually bring me everywhere I go. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, everyone has a fucking water bottle. It's just the way of the land. I forgot it. I bought an Aquafina.
I take a vodka bottle with me, but not a water bottle.
Yeah. I drank that Aquafina, and we're talking, it was just a 16-ounce bottle. I drank that Aquafina, and I had to pee like 4 times throughout the night. I could drink 32 ounces out of my water bottle with literally just 2 pinches of that sea salt. I might pee 1 time in 24 hours. So all of these other types of water, get away from them, right? All of these Aquafina, Fiji, there's a whole list of them. Smart water. These are osmotically produced waters. They have 0 minerals in them. Go ahead. Sorry.
Zero minerals.
Yeah. You want spring water, right? Real fucking spring water that came from the fucking side of a mountain, right? If that's the case, you not only have tons of minerals, you also have B12, right? B12. Yes. And that's one of the best ways to get B12 naturally is spring fucking water. All right, that's enough in the health shit. All right. But I want people to be healthy, right? Because if somebody's got a shitty disease, I'm in pain almost every fucking day. You don't need somebody trying to make an extra buck off you and then be like, oh, why did Uncle Jim die? Oh, because we found out he was eating this pink fucking Himalayan sea salt.
I thought it was because he smoked a pack of Marlboro a day and drank whiskey, like, you know, for years.
That could have been it too.
Maybe it was orange she got numb. I don't know. Lots of possibilities, Jerry.
Well, let's dial it back into Bitcoin. So a very amazing video from the last couple days is one that's been going around the Fox business. It is this one right here. Let me pull it up. And this is this one from one of my favorite guys from Fox, and that's Mr. Charles.
Another area where people are making a lot of money. You might have heard of it. Crypto? Bitcoin? Anyone? Why do people love Bitcoin? Why do they love crypto? Well, I got to tell you something. 28% of young folks say they want it, and I'll tell you why. Going back to 2013, the number one asset, the number one performing asset, Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. How much? How about 315,000%? 315,000%. There's one drawback. The years it wasn't number one, it was last. Still,
that's
though,
okay.
315,000%. I'll ride that wave anytime. Let's bring in now one of my favorite experts on the topic, Coin Stories podcast host, Natalie Burnett.
Really the opportunity of our lifetime, especially for young people. We millennials have lived through multiple financial crises. My family lost everything in 08, 09. And we've seen the complete destruction of the value of these slips of paper that the government just prints out of thin air that we sacrifice our time and energy for. And our leaders are in their 70s and 80s, and we've watched them get mega rich while our generation is posting social media videos about how they can't afford rent and groceries. So just to catch up economically has been chaotic for millennials and Gen Z. And Bitcoin is really the bridge from chaos to hope, because young people are thinking about where they can put their money for the next 100 years and how they're going to save for their children and the next generation. So what are they going to buy, Charles? Bonds? No. Gentlemen and ladies of my era don't prefer bonds. A stock index, well, that's basically tracking the inflation of the money supply, and you have a handful of companies making all the gains, so you're buying a few winners that offset hundreds of duds. And when you're picking stocks, how do you know that that company is going to be around for 100 years? What about real estate? Well, I can't buy a fraction of a house and take it with me around the globe. I can't buy a fraction of your watch, Charles. So for millennials and young people, Bitcoin is really the solution. It's the tool for economic empowerment, and it will eat into all the other asset classes that have made older generations so wealthy.
Natalie, I got less than a minute to go. The question everyone asks me, though, is how do you trust it?
The greatest thing about Bitcoin is you don't need to trust. You're relying on the currency of the universe, which is energy, and the laws of thermodynamics and math. It is the only form of money that we have that isn't a monopoly, that is decentralized, that is truly scarce, and that is global and completely voluntary for all of us to opt into, so that we can create this parallel path for us and achieve the abundance and prosperity that I know we can achieve.
You know, Natalie.
Boom. No one's pointing out.
I just want to stop right there.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm feeling spicy on a
Spice it up.
Sunday morning. I just want to be devil's advocate, because some people be a contrarian, and they're gonna be like, "All right, but what if one country?" Oh, you don't have to go there. You don't have to go big like that, Nick. You can put up a bunch of other stuff. A big ugly face this early morning on a Sunday. God bless America and all, but we don't need to see that, dude. But my as I put on my contrarian hat, what if, or we already know to an extent, that other countries start centralizing Bitcoin mining, or let's say again, like before, China had a big position, but somebody gets a big position and starts mining Bitcoin in a massive way. That does become somewhat of a monopoly when all the miners are located in one area, or when there's this much power. So yes, she's right, and I understand what she's saying, and I love Nat, and she's totally on our team. But the contrarians out there might use that as an argument to push back. How do you fight that FUD, Jerry? Fight the FUD, Jerry. Fight it hard.
Fight the FUD.
Fight the FUD.
So basically, I again, you know, somebody who's always open-minded, right, have to be thinking on both sides of the fence because you know, once you put these things out in the wild, things happen, right? And I've been saying for some time, I don't like all the miners centralizing in Texas, right? Look at how many weather events have been happening, like now a hurricane. Like I said this, and then all of a sudden there's barrel over Houston, right? So again, it's just me. I think the miners need to start looking at Idaho, Wyoming, Oregon, Washington, Northern California, where there's really cheap energy and you can really make a buck.
But even that, the contrarian standpoint is that even if they're, doesn't matter if they're in Texas or Wyoming or, you know, Maine, if they're centralized in one country for that matter, right? You know, if they're all centralized, if they tend to gang up where obviously they're going to go where power is cheapest and whoever has that. But I think that the contrarian viewpoint is that if too many miners and power and hash is located in one country or even one part of the globe, you know, then it becomes a monopoly, right? And it can be controlled.
Yeah.
Let's say El Salvador goes crazy and oh my gosh, all the hash power kind of moves down to El Salvador, volcano power, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you're right. I mean, any form of centralization can be bad, right? Because it can lead to issues, whether it's jurisdictional issues or energy issues. There could be problems. And like I've stated for over a couple years now, that, you know, my concern is energy issues, right? Texas's grid is very fragile. And it's not built like Washington's grid. It's not built like Oregon's grid. It's not very anti-fragile. And all it takes is like, you know, a couple of weeks of 110-degree weather and we're having issues. The good part is that Bitcoin miners make these issues go away very quickly, right? This is the thing with on-demand, you know, energy is that, you know, ERCOT calls them up and like, yeah, we'll pay you $5 million to shut off for today. They're like, no problem. And again, so, but at the same token, I agree with you. I think we need to be, in multi-jurisdictions in the same country. Yes, that could be problematic where it's a country like China or a country like even France.
That goes back to our conversations we've had earlier here on the Bitcoin Live Network, where I've been very vocal about this since day one, that mining Bitcoin is of national security. It is something that nations are going to look at. And I ultimately believe, I've asked other people, and some of them have said, maybe not as extreme as you're thinking, Matt, but I think that ultimately these data centers, the Bitcoin mining centers, come under some sort of federal jurisdiction. And it's almost like a modern day Fort Knox, a digital Fort Knox. They're going to be armed, they're going to be protected, and it's going to become down an issue because we just heard Senator Lummis, you played the clip earlier, that if that backs the dollar, I mean, my goodness, we've been saying that for years here on the Bitcoin Live Network. You know, you back the dollar with Bitcoin, and what does that do? So again, I think that it does become a matter of, yeah, we want Bitcoin made in America. Yeah, we want to see that in a way. We want to centralize, because it can become a monopoly if we don't do that, right? If we don't take a proactive role on this, and you know that mining and all that hash power goes somewhere else in the globe, then yeah, that threatens the dollar, that threatens America. So that's why America needs to be very proactive in this and make Bitcoin in America. And so I think that's why at least the Republican Party got wise and said, hey, you know, we've got some people here that are talking to us that are really, really smart, that got more degrees than Fahrenheit. Maybe we should listen to them.
Yeah. Again, and 100%, we've been saying this for years, right? That the government needs to have their own, you know, mining operation, right? I'm running in 2028. One of my first executive orders is the formation of the Bitcoin Mining Authority. And it's exactly what MattySats is talking about. We literally set up shop in like the 10 biggest cities in America and we find energy problems, right? Or we find energy products. And what do? We build those energy contracts, and then at the same time we strap it to the Bitcoin network. And that's, the other thing we were talking about probably like 5 or 6 episodes, is that these Bitcoin miners, when the price isn't profitable, this is when they start having to go, we might have to shut down. Well, not if you're a co-energy producer, right? So that's, like I said, that seesaw of co-balancing, mining operations versus energy operations. That's why the miners must become energy creators, so that when the times become unprofitable, you're creating the energy, so then your profitability goes back up. And that's why it's so crucial.
Look at this, Gerald, is that as well as I do, the amount of heat that's put off by these miners, and having been in a mining operation firsthand myself and experiencing the amount of heat that is generated. And now they're looking at ways to capture that heat that comes off the miners and then turn that into renewable and reusable energy. So right there, that speaks to what you're talking about. And that's really, I think by the time we get to 2030, we're going to be seeing innovations like that coming online, which is really going to transform the industry even more. Just saying.
100%.
I could be wrong. I mean, I'm still feeling bad from all the barbecue I ate yesterday at the barbecue.
No, I think you're accurate, right? And Bitcoin is the apex of all apex assets, right? It not only can eat dollars and yen and gold and silver, but it'll eat it'll eat methane flare. It'll eat methane from dumps, right? That was the new one that I put out a couple months ago, and then just a month after me saying that, what do we hear? Oh, there's dumps across America figuring out how to mine Bitcoin. Oh, shocker. So Bitcoin will eat the waste energy, right? That nobody wants. Bitcoin fixes this, right? This is what the whole Bitcoin mining authority does, right? We go to your municipal dump. We find, oh my gosh, it's kicking off tons of methane in these regions. We drill, we put in a pipe, we then hook up, methane generators like we do with the methane flare, and then we're hooking up ASICs. Now that dump is now not only earning money from its operations daily, it's earning money on the side in Bitcoin. So if they ever have a huge dip in their budget, they have a secondary reserve asset that they can buy shit with. This is why if you're building a business going forward in the 21st century, you're not building Bitcoin mining into the model, you're literally throwing away free money because you're going to pay for your energy bill anyway. Facts.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like you really did a number. Is there a discount code below right there that you can put in that I can click on to get a deal?
Oh yeah, for Shield Folio. It should be below. I think it's was it? I think it's like Bitcoin Live. Yeah, it should be. It'll be in the links. It will be in the links because Nick will be putting them in there. Oh, there it is. Boom. Bitcoin Live 20. Boom. Shield Folio.
Boom. See right there. See how I do that? And I touch it. Look at that. Boom. It's a touch screen.
Magic.
Boom.
Magical.
Yeah. Shield Folio. Keep your stuff safe. Keep it on lock. There you go.
Oh, and I did find that article from a bit back. Hold on one second. Let me share this one. So this was from just, like I said, it was like last night at, there it is, right? 10:44. So that's almost 2 a.m. On the East Coast. But so I'm just going to click on the link so you can check it out. Share this tab instead. So the one was against Stacks, and the other one was for I'm trying to think. Everyone knows.
Was that like the Stacks community?
Correct. So the Stacks community should be elated.
Yeah. Hello, Jack's been switched. Hello, friend in the room.
Yeah, he's like, yay! The Paxos Pro. That's what it was. So it was the one was Stacks. They dropped the case on Stacks.
Jack been switched.
So they dropped their one on Stacks, and then the other one was they dropped the one on Paxos. And that one was basically saying, is BUSD a security? And guess what? They said that even Binance USD is not a security. So that's big, right? Let's be very clear. Again, this is making the case for what we were talking about earlier in the show, right? They're finding all of these dollar coins that the governments are trusting. And guess what? They're saying, oh, BUSD is okay. Wonder why? Because Binance is still the biggest exchange in the world, and they still have a lion's share of the Bitcoin. Let's be very clear. All these people are saying, oh, Binance going out of business. I'm like, do you know how much Bitcoin Binance has? Way more than Germany. Oh yeah, and let's get into that story a little bit, because I'm pretty sure I have a link on that one. Give me a sec to find it.
Germany, I can't wait. Maybe it's spicy. Maybe we could put some bratwurst on that hot take.
But yeah, so the big news this last week was that Germany was dumping their position. And of course, I can't find it.
Can't find it when you need it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that. Oh man, I ate so much barbecue yesterday, dude. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you.
Are you gonna make it?
The chicken wing competition was just out of this world. 24 wings, dude. I think that was the record somebody put down. Man.
24 and what was the time?
In 90 seconds.
Wow.
24. You got to eat the whole wing. I mean, all the way down to the bone. Don't eat the bone. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. You gotta get all the meat.
You can't be like leaving nubs on the bone, right? You got to like whole thing clean.
Oh, I found one of the tweets. So, and the other thing is, here's the tweet. So people are actually sending Bitcoin now to Germany. Now I know somebody sent like $2 and said, "Have fun staying poor." That person, you're cool. I like you. All these people sending Bitcoin to Germany, stop it. Stop it. Because guess what they're going to do? Sell it. Give it to your grandma. Give it to somebody who needs it. Germany doesn't need it. Well, they might in like 5 years because
I think technically, though, Gerald, they have to sell it, right? Because the way that the rules are structured, that they can't have an asset that they've seized from an illegal operation on their books. So until
is that German law?
Yeah, from what I understand about German law, and look, I know German law pretty darn well. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos. Okay, so from what I understand, they can't keep it on the books in the way that it is right now, and I think that
makes sense because they were buying it the next day, right? They dumped.
Well, no, they didn't buy it. They didn't buy it. What those were unfilled sell orders that just got sent back to the German government, to those accounts.
Oh, I got you. They got bounced.
Yeah, then the very next day they went and they dumped it together. So then Germany's still dumping it because I think, again, like I said, from all the awesome YouTube videos I've seen out there on the webs, the interwebs, they can't keep it on the books. So that's why they have to dump it until the laws are changed. And I think that's true with a lot of other countries. I could be wrong. These are times when I need the crypto curator, Paul McNeil, because that dude just would be like, here's what's up. Boom, 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 boom. And be like, oh, thanks, Paul. Cool. So whatever. I don't know. Man, that was good barbecue, though, yesterday, man. Them ribs, the Hawaiian flavored ribs, were so good. That's why I ate 5 of them, dude. But I think it was the potato salad that did me in.
What's funny?
Shouldn't have potato salad on a hot day in the 90s. When you're out in the sunshine eating potato salad and Coors Light. It doesn't do us very, very much good.
Always be careful with the food poisoning in the heat, y'all.
Well, man,
it's not
it's America.
It's not hard to do.
America.
Especially when it's 110 or 105, and by the way, we
90 yesterday. Yeah. 90.
Well, here was 96.
Well, it was 6 degrees cooler where I was.
Oh no, today it's 96. Yesterday it was 101.
Oh damn!
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I love how the news isn't talking about that. By the way, 30 to 60 cities hit new all-time highs, including Las Vegas hit a 120 last week. But yeah, let's not talk about that.
We're doing weather now on the show. Look, we do everything from
Everything.
weather to health reports to Bitcoin and barbecue flavor reviews. We'll do it all on this. Really, we're trying to broaden our content funnel at this point, I think.
Again, get rid of the pink Himalayan sea salt and stack sats. You'll thank me. Seriously.
We've got so far off the rails today.
That's all right. It's all right. We're still in there. Still in the zone.
You're never. What are you talking about, dude? You're way out there. You're way out there.
Oh no, I'm not way out there. Way out there was like a couple weeks ago when I was like,
your own show called Untethered, man. That's what you are. You're untethered.
Untethered. Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's a great name. I know. You can just give me a little royalty fee on the kickback on that.
So one of the other things I was sharing last week was that I have been looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart. And it was riding high. You know what? Might as well pull it up. Give me a second.
Yeah.
BTCD.
But your point that you were going to make, I think, is you kind of mentioned this earlier in the week, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Okay. Yeah. And I
think that Bitcoin basically was riding around 55 for I don't know how long. I want to say 55% for a month or two. And then it just started to pull back. I just found the chart. And you can see it's at 54. It's kind of going back up because obviously, last evening it went from, I guess, about 58 to 60. But as you can see, it was trending in a downward as before yesterday's obviously events and then the subsequent pump to 60K. We were seeing it go down, right? You can see the month is literally down almost 1.5%. But the article I found yesterday is the one I wanted to share. And that one was, oh gosh, I just lost the tab again. There it is. Right here. And basically saying what I was saying is that we do see a bearish pattern in the Bitcoin dominance chart. And usually when we do see Bitcoin go below 50%, altcoins usually take off. I think this year or this time, it's going to be a little bit different. I think we're going to potentially see the altcoins take off when Bitcoin's dominance drops. But I think at the same time, with all this ETF demand and obviously people across the globe more and more every day are utilizing Bitcoin for everyday purchases, for their savings account, we could see the altcoins boom. And then usually what happens every cycle is some people take money, invest into altcoins, and then when those altcoin positions go, 10x, 100x, whatever the case may be, then they take some of those profits. They wait till Bitcoin goes down, and then boom, they invest into Bitcoin. And I think that's what we're going to see this time.
Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. I mean, I've been seeing this cycle since 2017, man.
Correct. And once they rinse and repeat, we could see Bitcoin make its big move. I don't know if it's going to be in the fall or after the fall. I don't know, because my new theory is that we are going to see some pullback in the stock market because I think equities are way oversold. Overbought, in my opinion. And again, all the red flags are there. We're starting to see, inversions in the 10-year bond. If you come to Deschutes County is one of the wealthiest counties in America. When I first moved here in 2020, you could see a property sign go up at 9 a.m. At 9:45, it's coming down, cash offer, sold. That's how big the property demand in Bend was in 2020. I see for sale signs all over the county, from Bend to Redmond. I also am seeing multiple new property sites being built. The new trend I saw the other day driving around doing some Ubering was that I see multiple high-end vehicles for sale. So I saw a Mercedes, brand new Mercedes 2023 Mercedes for sale. Saw a 2020 something BMW for sale, brand new Subaru for sale. This is again in Bend, y'all. Some of the other flags, red flags, commercial property, right? Commercial property bubble is the biggest it's been, I think, ever in the history of America. The credit card debt bubble is now $2.2 trillion, I think. And America is somewhere between $34 and $50 trillion in debt. So the Burr machine's going to be activated. My opinion, October, November, I see the stock market imploding. If the Philadelphia Phillies win, that's another, not many people know that macro indicator, but when the Phillies win, it's usually bad for the economy. So again, I'm hoping that the Phillies win because I'm the biggest fucking Phillies fan in the world.
Yeah, you're a Philly guy. You're a Philly fan, dude. I don't know, man.
But it could happen, right? They are, I mean, now we're getting into sports a little bit. If you're looking at the Phillies.
Yeah, sports too. We'll do that.
Yep. 8 Phillies are going to the All-Star game. It's the most Phillies going to All-Star game in the history of the franchise. Oh yeah, and I'm in this sports. I'm taking this guy to see the Mariners in a couple weeks. And we're gonna see. I think we can almost spit on Bryce Harper. It'll be awesome.
Well, you can. I won't. I'm spitting because it's kind of gross.
Yeah, you get the point. I'm not gonna spit on Bryce.
Oh,
Harper.
okay. I was gonna try to encourage you. Wouldn't want you to get out of the stadium because, like, dude,
yeah, no, I wouldn't be spitting on any player.
Don't. Yeah, okay. You could probably like ask him for like a photo or something. You know.
Yeah,
that might be doable.
That's the plan.
Like, hey, Bryce, you know, and like he'll turn and then like
hi,
he would look at you and then you like go like, you know what I mean? And that could work.
It'll probably be a few photos from afar, you know.
Yeah. Well, that, you know, whatever. But see, that's way better and it's more polite, you know. And it's sanitary.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
But I think that's it for today, y'all.
Are we done?
I think so.
Okay.
I think we covered it all.
Oh man. I gotta get some Pepto.
Yeah. Pepto
Ooh.
and some dabs is my recommendation.
For your kombucha, Jerry.
Yeah. Pineapple kombucha.
Well, that'll give me a cleaner colon. That's what I need.
Indeed.
Colon after that barbecue festival yesterday. Oh. All right. Take it home, Jerry. Bring us home.
Alrighty. Well, again, I want to thank MattySats. I want to thank the team at Bitcoin Live. I want to thank Nick and everyone, all of our sponsors, Shield Folio, Quantum Economics, Quantum Expeditions. Don't forget, if you use the discount code that was in the show, you get 20% off your Shield Folio, which helps you protect your seed words. It is a great tool to have in your arsenal of blockchain gizmos and gadgets. And again, tune in to all the other shows. I think Douglas's show is coming up in like an hour or so. We were talking about Jack. Jack show's back. He's big into stacks, so go check him out. I'm sure he's going to be super excited talking about how the stacks case got repealed. But again, y'all have a great one, and thanks for hanging in. Don't forget to share.